You are driving home or staring at the ceiling in the dark, and your mind is running a relentless, uninvited simulation. You are replaying a conversation. You are dissecting a passing comment, a weird look, or a slightly dismissive tone from someone you interacted with earlier today. You are mentally drafting the perfect comeback, the ideal counter-argument, the exact words you should have used to prove your competence, your intelligence, or your worth. But here is the unsettling paradox. If you stop and think about the person you are currently agonizing over, you will realize something absurd. You don't even like them. You don't respect their choices. You wouldn't seek their advice on a major life decision. You find their personality grating, their morals questionable, or their intellect thoroughly uninspiring. If they disappeared from your life tomorrow, your only genuine emotion would be a quiet sense of relief. Yet here, you are allowing them to occupy the most valuable real estate in your mind. You're sacrificing your peace, your sleep, and your internal equilibrium to win an imaginary argument against someone whose actual opinion is entirely worthless to you. Why do we do this? Why do we bleed so much psychological energy trying to secure the approval of a people we actively disdain? This is not a matter of simply caring too much. It is a profound error in the way we construct our reality. We are going to deconstruct that error, strip away the exhausting performance you've been putting on, and look at the uncomfortable mechanics of your own ego. 2 millennia ago, the Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius sat in his military tent, entirely surrounded by sycophants, opportunists, and people he knew he could not trust. He observed his own mind reacting to them, and he wrote down a thought that remains one of the most piercing psychological insights in human history. It never ceases to amaze me we all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Notice that Aurelius didn't distinguish between the opinions of the wise and the opinions of fools. He diagnosed the core disease, the outsourcing of our self-worth. In modern psychology, we might look at this through the lens of evolutionary survival. The primitive brain believes that to be misunderstood by the tribe is to be exiled, and to be exiled is to die. Therefore, the brain does not care if the tribe members are fools. It only cares about consensus. It demands that you belong, even if you are belonging to a group of idiots. But the Stoic perspective challenges this biological default. Stoicism forces us to recognize that our anxiety isn't actually about the other person. It is about the fictional avatar of ourselves that we have allowed them to hold hostage in their minds. When someone you dislike perceives you poorly, you aren't mourning the loss of their friendship. You are panicking because your ego demands universal jurisdiction. You want your character in the story of life to be universally respected, universally understood, and flawlessly rendered in the minds of every single extra walking through the background of your scene. You're playing a game of total control in a universe that guarantees none. Look closely at the architecture of the mental courtroom you have built. When you over-explain yourself to a coworker you despise, or when you dress a certain way to avoid the judgment of acquaintances you wouldn't trust to water your plants, you are appointing them as the jury of your life. You are stepping into the defendant's box and pleading your case. But why have you given them the gavel? The psychology behind this is dark but simple. We prefer the illusion of a hostile audience over the terrifying reality of an empty room. If we are constantly defending our identity against the judgment of others, even people we dislike, we never have to face the daunting task of defining our identity for ourselves. We use their friction to feel real. We use their perceived judgment as a mirror. But a Stoic understands that seeking your reflection in the minds of the ignorant is like looking into a funhouse mirror and crying because your face looks distorted. The mirror is broken. Stop trying to fix your face to accommodate it. Think about what another person's opinion actually is. Biologically, it is nothing more than a momentary firing of neurons in a skull you have no access to. It is a shadow. It has no physical weight, no mass, and no tangible impact on reality unless you decide to mint it into currency. When you care what someone you don't like thinks of you, you are treating their neural firings as heavy gold. You are trading your authentic lived experience, your actual heartbeat, your actual time on this earth for a shadow that vanishes the moment they get distracted by their phone or their lunch. The Stoic practice of Autarkeia, self-sufficiency, is the refusal to accept this currency. It is the realization that a quiet mind cannot be bought with external validation, nor can it be stolen by external misunderstanding. The strength of the inner citadel is not measured by how well it defends against attacks, but by its complete indifference to the noise outside its walls. This brings us to a harsh and unromantic truth about walking this path. When you stop caring about the opinions of people you don't respect, the world will not necessarily applaud you. You will not suddenly radiate an aura of dominance that forces everyone to bow to your quiet confidence. In fact, the opposite will likely occur. When you withdraw your desperate need to be understood, people will misinterpret your silence. They will call you arrogant. They will assume you are aloof, cold, or disconnected. They will project their own insecurities onto your lack of reaction. This is the cost of entry. To be truly independent, you must be entirely willing to let people be wrong about you. You must allow someone you dislike to walk away from an interaction genuinely believing they won the argument. You must let them hold a version of you in their mind that is weak, foolish, or flawed. You must surrender the deep, burning desire to correct the record. You do this not because you are defeated, but because the record they keep is written in dust. Letting them be wrong is not a tactic to eventually win their respect. It is the ultimate severing of the cord. It is the moment you stop performing for a gallery you never wanted to entertain in the first place. You have spent years carrying the heavy, exhausting weight of 1,000 different masks tailored to the unique prejudices of everyone you have ever met. You have worn them so long, they have started to chafe against your own skin. What happens when you take them off? What happens when you look at the person who disrespects you, whom you do not respect in return, and you simply let them think whatever they wish? There is no glorious victory in this moment. There is no swelling music. There is only a sudden, deafening quiet. If you are no longer trying to manage the perceptions of strangers and fools, you are left alone with yourself. And that is the terrifying frontier the Stoics warned us about. Because once you remove the excuse of everyone else's judgment, you must finally answer for your own. Imagine your mind as an empty, silent room. Someone you do not even like has been standing in the corner screaming instructions at you, and for years you have been following them just to make the yelling stop. Today, the door is open. They're walking out, taking their noise, their flawed judgments, and their meaningless opinions with them. The room is finally quiet. Are you strong enough to sit in the silence, or will you run out into the street begging them to come back?